already seen? That's the focus you want to focus on?
Exactly. More focused than you were.
Play this stupid
The
video.
largest amount of fights, he only dealt a finishing blow to one single enemy, which is Yura, a Jonin from
Shout
the Sand
out,
Village.
Yura.
Yura is the guy that was being controlled by Sasori to leak information on the Sand
Yeah, you
Village
remember
and stuff
this?
like that so that he and Data could invade it. And then
The
he was
finishing
used
blow-
to
I mean,
create Itachi's body
But
double,
what about
who went
like
to
the
fight
Diva
Team
path of
Kakashi and
pain,
Chio to
or the
stop them from
Ashura
getting
path
to
of
Deidara
pain,
and Sasori's
or the
location
Animal
where they
path
were
of
trained to
pain, or the
Kaguya
Naraka
Now,
path
yes,
of
Yura
pain.
was
Are you really gonna do
Or
this bit?
all
Going through
paths of pain.
one by one. Go ahead, Kamui, finish.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
because that would
You
be-
finish what you started. Have a little follow
that would be
through.
nice. The human path of pain. And that's the last one.
All
But
right.
yeah, I mean, Naruto got the finishing blow against all of them. He also technically Obito to some extent. I know he didn't kill him, but he finished the fight against Obito, if that counts.
This is
The same would go
almost
for
dumb.
Kakashi, I guess. But if he means
Can we count
killing
every
blows,
white Zetsu ever because they were the people from the previous Infinite Tsukiyomi?
yeah. But like, all the white Zetsu. I mean, Naruto got the finishing blow on plenty of white Zetsu, that's for sure. Really turned them into trees. I think they were done. But yeah, like I don't see why they can't count. Like the pains, they're already dead. Bro finished them off, but regardless, he literally killed white Zetsu. They are humans, just modified humans.
You know what? I did just remember something. So to like put the emphasis on the title of it being correct. So to derail, the Zetsus multiply. I'm guessing the.
I don't. Yeah.
So like you only need one white Zetsu, and then the rest you can just make infinite Zetsus. You don't need to do the infinite Tsukiyomi to make Kaguya's army. How do the Zetsu? So what are the fake Zetsus? Is this how the god trees multiply? You just need one
I think
seed.
There's two things you can say on this. One is that, well, first of all, should we still need to do the infinite Tsukiyomi to at least get one person in there?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
ignoring that, you could argue that maybe Obito was just wrong, and it was actually just Zetsu pulling more black Zetsu, pulling more white Zetsu out of the statue, and making it seem like they were multiplied. That's one option. It's just a facade. The second option is that it was only possible because of Hashirama cell nonsense. Because Madara already had the Hashirama statue thing up in there, and that plays a role in it. Because for some unknown weird ass reason, the white Zetsu have the same cells as Hashirama. You could argue that's just because actually because the white Zetsu are kind of like blank slates. They just take on the chakra of whoever, right? Maybe when Madara hooked up the Hashirama still culture to the statue, it just went to the Zetsu, and that's why they have white Hashirama cells, because they essentially just copied them. That is another thing. But anyway, maybe the Hashirama cells played a role in the multiplication powers. Or you're right, they can just do that, and it is unnecessary for her to like. I mean, maybe she just wants like. I guess she wanted to get to the infinite Zetsu faster by starting with 100,000. I don't know.
Look, I'm just saying, considering how quickly they did that, if Obito waited like another week and they just had 1,000,000 Zetsu, I don't care what power up you give Naruto, they're just losing.
Or what if Obito just started this process sooner? Like, why did he wait till then? He could have been doing this for years.
Why didn't Zetsu just do it himself? Like he had 2,000 years or something. Like could have made 8 trillion Zetsu.
I guess to be fair, they were stuck in the ghetto statue, but as soon as Madara like summoned it, bro could have just like started the process. I guess, depending on how it worked.
And
also,
even
this is
then,
random, but seeing this construction of this bridge just reminds me of the fair. Couple fair rides. It just gives me fair vibes, and that's kind of cool.
You mean
Also,
the bridge you're looking at in real life? Because you're walking?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because that was out of nowhere.
I could not ever fathomably cross this
legally or
non-existent
physically.
bridge. With the lights on, I can see. There just is no way, unless I jumped like, I don't know, 100 feet, however many feet that is.
I
Be
mean,
quite the big hurdle jump.
you
But
could
this is-
do
yeah,
the
it's kinda cool.
Naruto
I
Shadow
think there.
Clone jump fly trick.
Or I could just do the tree jumping trick, where they just like levitate for like 10 seconds between trees.
Where
Now's the
gravity
time to
just
test
turns
it.
off. Ugh.
Gravity turns. Yeah, it's the anti-gravity jutsu.
Space time, the pursuit jutsu.
The pursuit jutsu. Yeah, the pursuit jutsu. You just can't. Yeah, so why do they need Kiba and Neji and all them? They can just use the pursuit jutsu.
It's the pursuit shin jutsu is what it really is.
Yeah, Orochimaru was on to the Shinjutsu long before everyone else realized. Those sound Joni, they have the pursuit Shinjutsu.
Oh god. Okay. Back to the video. Oh right. And hypothetically, do you think Kaguya can poop out a white Zetsu? I mean, she pooped out a black Zetsu. Guess it depends what black Zetsu is. Different from white Zetsu?
So in terms of white Zetsu, it really just depends on fundamentally how and why they become the way they do. As far as our understanding goes, I don't think well, I should backtrack. In theory, there is a way, but in terms of Black Zetsu, I haven't actually made this video yet. I started it, of course. Bro, I'm still, like I said, when I say I have like 50 videos I've started, I ain't joking. I've got the Black Rods explained, Black Zetsu explained. I got this random ass shit that I've like basically finished. I just haven't officially finished. Anyway, from what we understand, Black Zetsu is almost the same thing as the Black Rods. Not quite, but very, very close to it. He's basically just a being created with yin yang release. That is just what he is. He's basically a living Black Rod. Is basically what Black Zetsu is. Now, White Zetsu is just fundamentally very different. However, in theory, the creation of all things, if you can just create a freaking giant ass nine-tailed living fox who has a body confirmed by Kurama himself, and he even says flesh, I think, in that chapter. I can't remember if he says flesh, but anyway, I don't see why you can't just, in theory, create a white Zetsu by the same logic. But
that's interesting.
Kaguya doesn't do that. So, like, I don't know.
Okay, so Zetsu is kind of like a chakra receiver, and that kind of works. You could say it was wood style, but like Zetsu just like siphons chakra off of the people he latches onto. I thought that was like an activated ability. That could just be like a passive thing that he can't turn off.
I mean, well, he does seem to be able to turn it on and off. Like, he chooses when he does it. But, yeah, Black Zetsu literally just does almost literally all the same things as a Black Rod, but he's just alive. Like, he literally is just a living Black Rod. He's not quite a Truth Seeker orb. You know, he doesn't turn you into dust and prevent regeneration, shit like that. So he's more applicable to a Black Rod. But yeah, he literally just is. But anyway, in terms of White Zetsu, though, it seems to be like, on the other end, it seems to be like a divine tree related thing. Like, they're literally plant-like. The Hashirama Silk comparison makes sense, given that Hashirama's wood style is basically just a watered-down divine tree power. So, and they're also created through divine tree roundabout shenanigans with the infinite Tsukuyomi divine tree nonsense. So you could argue that maybe while Kaguya should in theory just be able to create anything like Hagoromo, it's supposed to be a divine tree thing. So like they don't, I don't know.
Do you think theoretically, if Hashirama, or I guess Madara with Hashirama powers, or Obito with 6-pass divine power, or like Zetsu even, or who else has what's Moegi, you got Yamato. Do you think any of these characters, even Jura, do you think if they use wood style and they wanted to, could they make a divine tree or even a divine tree seed? Or is that just not possible with any wood style ever at all? from anyone.
So it wouldn't be a proper divine tree. That's literally just like proven basically in the Diva arc. Because what Victor did was basically try to use Hashirama powers to make a divine tree. And he made a pseudo divine tree, but Orochimaru points out like this isn't the same as the actual divine tree. There is a clear distinction. It's like a jutsu versus shinjutsu. What Victor did, or what Hashirama could theoretically do, is probably like the ninjutsu version of a divine tree, whereas the actual divine tree is like the shinjutsu version. And there's something specific that isn't
feels like a meme
revealed. Literally, it is kind of a meme, but there is something specifically different that hasn't been explicitly revealed that makes that difference. Could be something related to the Ten Tails. It could be Yin Yang releasing theoretically if Hashirama created a giant tree imbued with Yin Yang release, like they do with the True Secret Orbs. Maybe it would just be a divine tree then. We don't know. There's a lot of possibilities. It could be a thing where it needs to have specific Ten Tails nutrients or some shit. You know, we don't know. But there is a difference. And so, no, I don't think Hashirama, definitely not Moegi, or Yamato or any of them could do it. Jura is the gray area because, well, he is a divine tree. Like, you know, like the Utsuki themselves. I mean, Jura just is a divine tree. So I can totally see him being able to do it because, like, his wood style just works like divine trees. It absorbs like divine, you know, it kind of just does divine tree things. So, you know, he makes sense, I feel like. But he's kind of the only one. Madara is unfair because he just summoned the actual divine tree. So, like, I don't feel like that counts. Could he create one? Maybe in theory, but he just summoned the actual, which is also just weird though, because maybe he kind of did create one at the same time because the divine tree was inside him, and when he did the deep forest emergence, he didn't pull it out of himself like Obito did. Instead, he just came out of the ground. So maybe he did just create a divine tree. I don't know.
Like, oh no, yeah, divine deep forest emergence.
Yeah, divine deep forest emergence. Like, it's clearly implied that it just is the divine tree because of divine, and it did the infinite Tsukuyomi.
I think it's the
like,
roots,
maybe
but
it
like
wasn't.
it's weird.
You know what? Actually, you know what? To be fair though, maybe it wasn't the divine tree. Maybe the divine tree, the actual divine tree, just absorbs and it kills, like it's always been described to do. And instead, maybe only this divine deep forest emergence, literally just a wood style jutsu, just a powerful one, is what creates the white Zetsu. So maybe it's not the divine tree, but actually, you know, that Kaguya Otsutsuki power.
Are we excluding the Kaguya backstory filler?
Yes.
Okay.
I was discussing this with someone in my Discord, but I was like, I'm like, I don't think it's fair to use that when there's so many blatant contradictions. Like, for example, we've already discussed some of these, but the Ten Tails isn't Kaguya for one. It turns into a dead divine tree rather than the ghetto statue. How Hagoromo even got the Ten Tails chakra when the Ten Tails just turn into a dead divine tree away from him is another question. And then how did the ghetto statue come into existence, given that it just wasn't there? Is another question. Like, there's a lot of things that don't make sense. So, yeah, let's just not use that.
Okay, so what about...
Also, in that filler arc, the Ten Tails was the one wrapping them up in the infinite Tsukuyomi, not the divine tree.
So what about the Zetsu's eyes? Because as broadly speaking, vaguely as possible, both the Shinjuu and the Zetsu are byproducts of the divine tree seemingly giving chakra to them, or at least transferring their chakra, because I think it also takes their chakra. Regardless, I think they have to get their chakra to have the transformation to some degree. So, with that being said, obviously the Shinjuu get Rinnegan. The Ten Tails itself has the Rinnegan. the Zetsus don't have the Rinnegan, and they don't have their normal eyes either. Their eye does transform. Seemingly, I would guess the in-universe explanation would be a byproduct of the Tin-Tail's chakra. But how and why and what is the Zetsu eye even in the first place? Anyways, it's like this yellowish weird eye.
Well, yeah, like they have like this plant-like element to them. But again, I never really considered this before, but maybe the honest truth is like it isn't the divine tree that is making the light Zetsu. Like maybe it literally just is like Kaguya imbuing them with like a wood style thing, like, and that's why they just are wood like. Let me see Zetsu's manga dialogue about it. I know he just says like the white Zetsu are what's trapped in the infinite Tsukiyomi and all that, but does he say like?
I mean,
that
if we're going that
created from the
far with
divine
it,
tree or something?
if we're going that far with it, you could argue it's not the tree at all. It's like the paper that spawns out of the tree.
Yeah, and that's like coming from Kaguya, not the normal divine tree nonsense, because the normal divine tree just sucks them up with the normal wood, not the paper.
In which case, I think Kaguya could just poop out an original white Zetsu. That's not a clone of someone else or anything.
Well, she might not be able to poop it out outside of it, obviously creation of all things. I don't see why that wouldn't work. She might not be able to poop it out, but she might be able to just do a wood style paper tree thing and then just turn him into a light Zetsu.
Okay. I wonder if
which case the infinite Tsukiyomi might just be for the purpose of we've talked about this before. It might just be like so she could just do the whole world at the same time, versus trying to do some one at a time, go around the world nonsense. It might just be like a thing that connects. Maybe the infinite Tsukiyomi, because the infinite Tsukiyomi become one. Maybe it just binds it connects her chakra to everyone to allow her to do this or something like that. It might be a utility, a whole world's utility thing in that respect. And then her deep forest emergence is the actual white Zetsu creator. But I mean, granted, Black Zetsu says it's the infinite Tsukiyomi, but
Become one is interesting because of the Himawari Kurama one mind, one soul body thing.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if that's
are they becoming white Zetsu?
It makes me wonder if the tree itself is transforming because the people are turning into Zetsu. I wonder if the tree's slightly modifying itself as well to be more human-like. Which is crazy, but
yeah, I mean that is an interesting theory. It's actually, which
meet in the
ironically
middle.
is very much like the Shinjuu,
The Shinjuu,
situation
yeah.
now. Like in their case, the trees become human-like through the chakra of the people they absorb. So maybe it's actually just a portion of the tree. Like essentially, I know Code split up the ten tails, but like essentially think of it like that. It's all split up, and then just that part of the tree becomes human. Like honestly, I kind of like it. It works with the Shinjuu. That is assuming that they're basically the same thing. The difference here would be one was a 10 tails versus a just wood style jutsu. The only thing though is we've never seen Hashirama display any sort of similar ability, which is where you get into the question of, well, okay, what is fundamentally different then? Because it's not the divine tree under this hypothetical, it's just Kaguya's wood style. But like the divine deep forest emerges, what's actually different here then? Like versus could Hashirama just do this? Like
I wonder if the divine tree, if it wrapped up a Shinjuu and tried like the Zetsuification process, what would the Shinjuu turn into?
yeah, would they just turn into white Zetsu? Would they just get weaker with the Zetsu? But that's another question is, well, what happens if you hypothetically Naruto and Sasuke in the war just return into Zetsu? Would their Zetsu be drastically different from like an Iruka Zetsu, or would they just end up the same regardless?
They're a little bit different because outside of strength, they have six paths divine powers or whatever, so that might play into it.
Okay,
to some
what
degree.
about like Kakashi? Kakashi
Okay.
pre-Obito amp versus like Abisu. Like would their Zetsu strength be different?
It seems like they're all the same.
Original Infinite Tsukiyomi. But that's the thing though, is the problem is the original Infant Tsukiyomi was done on ordinary people. The disparity in combat strength
Yeah.
was probably significantly less than it is with ninja, so you might notice. We do know that the original White Zetsu and Guru are noticeably better than all of the clone other one. I mean, frankly, were there only just like 2 or 3 original White Zetsu, and are the rest literally just clones? Because the OG White Zetsu could just do that. Guru never displays the ability, but like that one White Zetsu, was he actually responsible for the army? Just him.
I mean, those White Zetsus that Sasuke kills, they're freaking out that Sasuke killed the original. So that tells me that that means something to them. And they even know that.